Etsy's algorithm changed again. And I know many of you are experiencing either a loss of views or even sales. So, what exactly is going on? Well, about a month and a half ago, I actually launched a video that no one seemed to want to watch. In that video, I went over all the possible changes that were coming October 1st. And guess what? I was right. So, before I start this video and explain these changes, I would highly suggest anyone stumbling onto my channel for the first time, you should probably subscribe. No one else is telling you what's going on. Well, not everything, at least. They're just all kind of mimicking each other like dodo birds. They just give you the bare basic information, and then they're just leaving you to figure out the rest yourself. I'm trying to help you as a seller, and if you don't want it, then go watch some fluff that makes you feel good inside. I'm not just going to tell everyone, hey, you're losing sales, and that's it. We all know that. So how do you fix it? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you how. So let's get into this, so I can help you get your Etsy shop back on track. Now, before I start, trust me, this video is going to be pretty boring. I'm literally just telling you what Etsy changed and what you need to update on your end. I made these changes myself about a month ago, and as a result, all of my shops are up, with one of them being up 56% in views and 9% in sales within just the past 7 days. So if your shop is down, this will help you. And if you miss anything I say in this video, no matter how boring it may be, please watch it back so that you can regain sales and views in your Etsy shop. At the end of August, Etsy released details about its visibility and future requirements. Many of you may have seen videos or read articles about these updates. Most noted was your shipping and pictures were going to be a huge factor in this change. Now, while that's true, it unfortunately is not everything that they require for visibility. Etsy released a ton of articles related to this topic, but many of them were overlooked. So let's go over everything Etsy's changed and what is now required. First, let's discuss the more well-known changes, just in case if you're unaware. Shipping makes a huge impact whether or not you're seen. Anything that ships within the US and costs more than $6 will no longer be prioritized on Etsy. And I know exactly what you're thinking, especially if you sell larger items. How can you keep this shipping under $6? Well, there's actually a loophole. If you choose calculated shipping, this will not affect your visibility at all. It also ensures that you don't lose any money during shipping. Now, if you don't want to choose that option, you can keep it at $5.99 and still be fine. That's actually where I have mine set to. It's under $6 and you don't lose your visibility. The second thing is photos. Etsy updated the way that they want your photos displayed on their platform. Not only do they want every photo to be at least 2000 by 2000 pixels, but they also don't want to see things such as your text here or your photo here as your main image. They want the picture to reflect the item that your consumer is going to receive. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use this verbiage. What they want is an actual image of a person's name, a loved one, a family pet, or something unique like that. Once that's done, if you want, you can add an arrow and then text next to it. If you only add the phrase with no example, this will limit your visibility. Carrying on with pictures, Etsy no longer wants you to have super dark or canvas style photos as your first image. They want bright and vibrant pictures displayed throughout their entire platform. And I know that may be difficult for some of you, especially who sell art. However, if you display that artwork with one of Printify's awesome mockups, you won't have any issues. I've actually personally tested this myself, and it removed that error message on Etsy's visibility page. What I've noticed from testing is at least 60% of that image needs to be clear and inviting. So don't add a dark art piece with a dark background. So now let's move on to things that most people aren't talking about. Attributes. With Etsy's recent updates, adding attributes like color, size, or the occasion is even more important now. These act like tags and boost your listing in search results. The more specific your category, the more details you can add. Now I know not all these may reflect items you sell. However, the more information that you can add, the better. I always make sure to include the color and any materials that are used in the making of the items that I'm selling. So if you sell, say, a blue t-shirt, then you'd want to add the color blue, as well as what material the shirt is made of. Also, one thing that's often neglected is selecting a holiday. If the item you sell is for a certain holiday, make sure you add that option. When someone is searching for, say, a Christmas gift, then your item will appear when they're searching. Next is categories. Etsy wants you to choose the most specific category and subcategory for your items. This will increase your chances of showing up in searches. You no longer have to add these categories or names to your tags or titles. As long as these are set properly, your item will automatically be displayed and appear when a customer searches. Now let's talk about your titles. Etsy wants you to keep your titles short, clear, and descriptive to help shoppers quickly understand what you're selling. You will also want to lead with the most important keywords, especially being that only 30 characters are actually displayed on the website and the app. Etsy wants you to avoid stuffing your title with too many keywords, as they believe it can actually confuse their buyers. They are suggesting a more simple approach, especially leading into 2025. Here are some examples. If you notice, the title reflects exactly what the picture is now showing. AI has the ability to scan the image as well as the text. The more accurate the title is to the description as well as the picture, the more Etsy is going to push that item. This is something very new. But for many of us that launched back in 2018-19, this was actually pretty normal for us. Since then, people stopped doing this and instead started jam-packing their titles with just keywords. This is no longer going to be the way that Etsy works and how things are searched, especially with AI now scanning through all the listings. So keep this in mind as you create your titles and what that actual picture looks like. This same writing actually applies to the descriptions. Etsy is prioritizing a more human-like description. They want you to use relevant keywords in your first few sentences. They specifically state for you to write it naturally and in your brand's voice. They also want you to include important information about your product. And again, they don't want you to just jam-pack your description with keywords. Now with AI, many of us just got lazy. We use the bots to just write out our descriptions and leave it be. However, Etsy's not seeing this as it's true to your brand. So they want you to write this with your voice, meaning that for those first 2 to 3 sentences, make sure it is actually written by you and not AI. Keep this in mind when you're writing your next listing. Tags also received a huge overhaul. They removed things like misspellings or the need to add plural tenses. They also want you to write in one language. So if you write in multiple languages, it actually confuses the system and affects your visibility. Now, I personally add plurals to all of my tags, as well as my listings. So it seems interesting that this is a new update. However, looking at my stats, it is actually true. And if you look at yours, you may notice this update as well. For example, if someone searches for blue shirts, and your tag only has the word blue and shirt, you will still appear in that search now, which shows that this statement from Etsy is true. And I believe that they're doing this so that people can add actually more descriptive keywords in their tags, especially since a lot of people just jam-pack them with plurals and try to gain more views. So what I would suggest is testing this on some of your listings to start. I still currently have plurals on most of mine, but as I continuously grow, I'm probably going to remove them because it seems like Etsy is not going to change from this. And if I don't have to add plurals anymore, this is a good thing because it's going to allow me double the keywords to be found. Policies are also playing a new role. Stating your shop policies is not required. However, not adding them will hurt your ranking and quality score. Etsy wants you to set clear expectations for your buyers. This, in addition to great customer service, actually improves your market experience score, which plays a huge role in how often your items will appear in search results. So take a few minutes to set those policies. They actually provide you with all the tools to do so. I would also suggest adding a few FAQs to help the customer know what to expect. Say if the package is lost or how to contact you. This is an easy way to help your shop stand out and build trust with your buyers. The last update is something you may be very familiar with, especially if you ever used Facebook or Instagram. Now, when you start looking for a specific item, like a sweatshirt, Etsy's system picks up on your interest. As you browse or favorite those items, you'll start seeing more of them. For example, if you click on multiple embroidered sweatshirts, Etsy now thinks that you're obsessed with embroidered sweatshirts. 3/4 of the items that will be displayed will be for embroidered options. Even if you only put the keyword sweatshirt, they will still be displayed. This is to try to keep you engaged on the platform as long as possible, and in hopes that you make a purchase. I personally believe that this is still in the testing phase. I am not obsessed with cats on coffee mugs, despite Etsy's efforts to say that I am. So keep an eye out as this evolves and changes over the next few weeks. I hope that this video helps shed some light on what has changed and what you need to update on your Etsy shop. And like I said in the beginning, if you missed anything in this video, please go back and rewatch it. These changes will fix your visibility issues. But just one thing I want to talk about before I leave you. Even though this will fix your visibility, if your designs suck, then you're still not going to get sales. Please remember to listen to your consumers and exactly what they want to buy. Do not get discouraged. Sometimes what we design and what we like is not what other people like. We have to swallow our egos and understand that the consumer wants what the consumer wants to buy. We cannot change their mind. So, if you like money, make sure you sell what they want. So please pay close attention to exactly what the consumer is saying and wants. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.